stuff out of it too.
So I'm gonna catch up and go to where.
All right, so what successful agents do every day, you grow your business and you run your business. So you have to constantly be feeding your database every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't add at least one person into my database, at least one. And there's also not a day that goes by other than Saturday and Sunday that I'm not working on it, either doing the task list or putting a note in. Even if it's like somebody I was talking to on the phone the day before, I'll go in my database and put notes about what the phone conversation was for that person. I'm constantly in my database and working it. So growing it and running your business are the two activities you have to do constantly. So under growing, we've got lead generating for buyers and sellers, making seller and buyer presentations, and previewing real estate. And by previewing real estate, that doesn't necessarily mean going to houses. It can, and you should, if there's a new one that you just need to see, if you think you have a buyer for it. But check the hot sheet every day. It's very easy to do. It'll take 10 or 15 minutes in the morning. Just see what popped on the market yesterday or overnight. That way, if you have somebody call and say what they're looking for, you've already got a general idea of the brand new things. Because as quickly as things are selling right now, you gotta know. So just check the hot sheet and preview real estate that way. And then running your business, market the seller listings, show buyers houses. These are like the activities. Negotiating contract, transaction management to close, vendor management. Vendor management, I believe what they're talking about is checking in with your lenders, checking in with your title companies. Do you need anything? Have you requested something you haven't received yet? Because typically they won't tell us unless we ask. So we're constantly are you waiting on anything from the buyer? Because a lot of times we can get it faster than they can because we've developed a relationship with our buyers and our sellers on the other side too. And we can call them up and just very nicely say, hey, did you get the email from the lender? Oh, you didn't get it? Okay, let me get them to resend it to you. Here's what they need. And then it gets to them much faster, where the lender sends an email and forgets about it and they don't follow up. So they could be waiting for a week for a document from the buyer that's going to hold things up if we don't check in and say, hey, are you waiting on anything? So I think that's what they mean by vendor management, just constantly checking in. Setting goals, set daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly goals. A daily goal may look like I'm going to talk to 4 people today. I'm going to put 1 new person in my database today. I'm going to knock on 10 doors today. I'm going to pass out my business card to 10 people today. Whatever it is for that day, set it. Your weekly goal, I'm going to write 2 contracts this week, or whatever the case is. I'm going to go on 2 listing appointments this week, but constantly have your goals and evaluate them at the same time. You know, when you go in on Tuesday, okay, what goal did I not reach yesterday? Because I got to add that to today's goal. I was supposed to call 10 people yesterday and 10 people today. I only called 8 people yesterday, so I got to call 12 today. Roll it over, because if you don't reach your daily goals, you're not going to reach your weekly goal. So you just constantly roll it over. Compliance and risk management, just checking in, go into command and make sure you've got all your paperwork. Always check in. Attend training and get coaching. That's what you're doing here. A lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, but a few people in the Market Center do have coaches. There's several different options for that through Keller Williams as well as elsewhere. Max coaching, it can be pricey, but they just changed it to where you don't have to sign on for a whole year. You can do it like a month by month kind of thing and see if it works for you. And manage your money. Know where your money's going. Know what you're spending it on. We talked about the other day a P&L. We're going to do a P&L class. So manage your money always. What we'll focus on today, stuff in the red. Okay, the purpose of scripts. Y'all did scripts the other day? Yesterday? Okay. What were they based around? Like, what was the topic of them?
The door knocking.
Well, you got to choose anyway, and
We
we did door knocking because we're going to do some door knocking.
That's
maybe
right.
even this afternoon.
Don't mention cats. Okay, perfect. The purpose of scripts is just practice. It's, yeah, I'm gonna steal it from you. It's just practice. It's repetitive to be comfortable. It's just a conversation. There's no need to overthink it. There's no need to think you have to say one specific thing. It's just a conversation. If you hit key points like the LP Mama that we've gone over 100 million times, then you'll get all the information you need. But it doesn't have to be in a certain order. It doesn't have to be specific wording. It's just a conversation. But the purpose of it is to gather information, ask questions, gather the information, and really learn how you can help whoever it is you're talking to, whether it's a buyer or a seller or a renter or investor or whatever. So they help you lead generate, they help you uncover motivations, identify objections, close deals, speak in terms the customer understands, and build confidence. That speak in terms the customer understands, that's where the conversation flows into. Don't try to go all lawyer or doctor on them. Yeah, they're not gonna know what you're talking about. Don't use a bunch of acronyms. Like we say MLS a lot. A lot of people don't know what that means because they're not in this business. So little things like that you'll learn along the way. So here's just a couple of examples of scripts that you find everything you were looking for. Go ahead and look around. Let me know if you need any help. I see you're admiring that big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? Just little things. Okay, so here's one of the activities they want us to do, and we'll do it together as much as we can, just because we don't have a book. Duh. Okay, so removing loaning beliefs. Let me get to this here. Let's see if I can.
See, we talked about that yesterday too.
Yeah.
This is, hang on, because this is not even the right lesson. Oh my God, this is scripts. Hey, Melissa.
Yeah.
We got the wrong lesson up.
What's that?
We got the wrong lesson up.
Well,
I was thinking we were gonna get in like segue, but it's not. It's today's database. Oh gosh.
Spark 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
It's okay.
I was like, that's not the activity that I researched. Oh, sorry.
So sorry.
You're
Yeah. Just real quick, I swear.
Just have to check the plug wire.
Yeah.
Start.
I was like, good, this will be a good segue between what you learned yesterday and today. And it wasn't segueing.
Just kidding. Oops.
Now, is Spark supposed to be an acronym? Because I think it didn't like quite make sense to me when they had the.
Well, you have Ignite. You
I
got
know.
a Spark for.
Well, I understand, but I mean, I thought it was supposed to be some kind of acronym, and I was like, it's not.
It might be. I don't know.
It's okay. I mean,
It could be.
but I always look for acronyms because that's the way I like.
Yeah, it is what they like. Okay, mom.
So we're on 4.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
No, you're good.
That that first slide is the first slide.
For-
The grow business,
business,
run
run
business,
Ah.
or whatever. That's why it looked the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, that's the same for all of them. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
We were just kidding. Keeping you on your toes.
Got a little review from yesterday.
We just
You were-
wanted
you
to
were
make sure
testing
everyone's paying attention.
We failed miserably.
We got 5 slides in. All right. Lead generate for buyers and sellers. What's a database? Big picture. All right. I'm going to try to, this is like right in the way.
Yeah, we moved it around.
Yeah. A well-tended database produces leads. A powerful database managed by a powerful schedule produces predictable flow of leads. And from a predictable flow of leads, you can expect a predictable flow of business. Now, command is really cool because when you put leads in there and you change them to an opportunity, it'll tell you the probability of you actually making that money. So as you slide them from like, I think they call it cultivate into active into under contract, the probability of you making that money goes up and up and up. That's pretty cool. It's a little thing they added. I like it.
pretty encouraging.
Yeah, it is. Oh, my probability to from 20 to 40%.
I do
like
one
it.
more thing.
Yeah, and then it adds all the money too. Like if you have multiple contracts and you say this one's going to be 4,000, this one's 5,000, then that the amount gets bigger as well. It's cool. I like it. I'm a dork. All right, living record of business. So your database is a living record of business relationships. It helps to nurture and manage the relationships, produces a predictable flow of business, and improves the service and strengthens the relationships. All of that is super, super true. It's basically just a way to keep track of who you're talking to, what you're talking about, and when you're talking to them for future, present, and past business as well. Okay, so 3 levels of the millionaire database. I had never heard these before, but I like them. So under the essential, you've got your name, your contact, your past business and past contact record, and then at-will communication. So the at-will communication means that you have a valid and up-to-date method of how to contact them. So if they say, hey, just text me, it's easier, that's your at-will communication. If it's a older person that just doesn't do text a lot, you may want to just always call them. So put a note in there that says this person prefers text, this person prefers calls, this person is out of the country a lot. Just email them and they'll get back to you when they can, or whatever the case is. Under the effective, you're going to obtain permission. And for this is super important, and not a lot of people do it, but everybody really, really appreciates it. So when you obtain permission from somebody, you're going to just say, fantastic, I've got your information. And occasionally we'll send out, little cards, Christmas cards or annual calendars or something like that. Do you mind if I put you on that list? Great. What's your mailing address, or what's the best place to send those to? And then for our monthly newsletter, we send out a monthly newsletter every month. It's chock full of information, including new listings, open houses, things like that. Do you mind if I put you on that list? Fantastic. What's the best email address to put that on? Oh, by the way, would your spouse also like to receive that? What's their email address? And you're asking permission to send them stuff while getting their information and establishing that trust that you're not going to spam them stuff. You're telling them exactly what you're going to send them. You're not going to send them junk. And they're telling you, yeah, I want that. So obtain permission, collect personal information, insights and preferences, where they like to eat, if they have kids, do they play sports, do they have dogs, things like that. Segment and group based on 1 through 6. I think that means like numbers 1 through 6 up here. So segment and group them out. And that's going to be like your tags that you put them on, like if they're sphere of influence, if they have dogs, if they have kids, you can put them on a dog tag or a kid tag or whatever. But segment them out that way. When you go to search for a group of people, you can find them. So if you want to send a notice to everybody that's a dog owner saying that Fairhope has a new dog park open, you can search by dog and it'll pull everybody up, and you can just blast out an email or whatever to them.
We love doing the tag thing. Can you do multiple tags? Okay, we just hadn't done that.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
can,
that would be great.
some people have 15 tags on the one person because they may be a buyer and a seller and an investor and a sphere of influence and a referral from somebody. They may be a transplant from somewhere else. I mean, yeah, you can put as many on there as you want. You can make them say whatever you want. You're the only one that sees what's in your database. So you can make it say, you can put a tag that says jerk, and that can be on that person's tag, and that it tells you never to call them, and somebody you don't want to work with, and you may want to be careful who you refer them to.
Yeah.
So they can say whatever you want. So yeah, absolutely. Purposeful and consistent communication. So this goes into a little bit, like I do this a little bit differently than what Keller Williams wants you to do, because they want you to use the SMART plans, which we used to call drip campaigns. I like to be in like high control of when I contact someone and what I say. And everybody's different because I am so hands-on and personal with my people. So I use the task list and the notes a lot. So purposeful tells me in the task, I'll put check in dash, what am I checking in about?
Mhm.
So I'm either checking in to see if they're ready to put the house on the market, or how the surgery went, like whatever it is, has the baby been born, that kind of thing. I'm putting that in there. And then in notes, I'm putting what our conversation was, so that when I go to check in with them again, I can reference back and kind of, you know,
Exactly.
rehash that conversation so they know I remember who they are, even though I really didn't until 5 seconds ago when I read the note.
Yeah, that's the trouble. I do that. I take notes on a little sheet that I made up.
So at the end of the day,
And
just
so
go to
that when I go,
command.
before I call them again, I know what we discussed and I can ask them about the things.
Yeah.
You know, how's your wife?
And you may lose the paper. So at the end of every day or beginning of every day,
Right.
go put your notes in there, because
That's
it'll
the-
save it in there.
That's the
Well, I
discipline.
mean, that's
have
how
to get
customer
Yeah.
service works.
Mhm.
And when they say, you know, hold on a second, let me check the notes, because you may not get the same customer
Exactly.
service rep when you call back. And I worked
Yeah.
for AT&T, and you have to note the count.
You have to note it. Yeah. You have to
So-
note it for yourself too.
So you bypass the smart plan altogether?
Yeah, I don't use smart plans. Do have some people set up on like a quarterly smart plan, like people that just are in there because they're in there. Maybe they bought something 5 years ago, or they're never going to buy or whatever, but they're still in there. And I may put them on a quarterly smart plan just to remind myself to check in with. And it may be a check-in, maybe like go send them a message on Facebook, or go comment on a picture on Facebook, just to put myself in front of them. It may be something as simple as that. But it also may be call them or
And to
text them.
remind them that
That I'm
you're still
realistic.
available.
Yeah. Exactly. So it looks different for every single person I have in my database. Now the team, they use some smart plans. Like Renee created a smart plan for one of the lead systems that we have. So when she has a lead come in through that lead system, she puts them on a smart plan for that, unless she has actually talked to them. So if it's somebody she had to leave a message for, or maybe the number sounded wrong or whatever, she puts them on that smart plan until they either call her back or answer the phone or reply to an email. Then she'll take them off of it and she can do it manually and more personal. So you can use it several different ways. I do have people on a birthday smart plan as well, just to pop up to remind myself to send them a birthday card. So that's a good one too. So you can use it however you want to use it though. Okay, so it wants me to talk about leads and how often to contact them. 19 to connect. So 19 touches to connect, 4 touches quarterly on the phone call, 12 touches with a monthly email, newsletter, market report, video, whatever. 2 touches, this is per lead, per contact, with promotional direct mail. So maybe an annual calendar, and then a football calendar in the summer or something like that. And then 1 touch, an annual event, party, movie screening, or get together. So that gives you 19 touches for every single contact you have in your database each year. And that's the lead. So it separates leads and contacts. So leads are people that you haven't really connected with yet. So people that you want to just kind of tickle them and remind them that you're here. The contacts is people that you're actually going to be actively working with, whether it's now or in the future. So it says 36 to convert a contact into a buyer or seller. 4 touches with a phone call.
I thought it was the other way around.
So a lead is just basically a name and a phone number.
Right, it's just starting out.
Yeah, it's just starting out. A contact is somebody that you have spoken to. You've
You've got a
contacted
relationship.
with them. Yeah.
Connection.
Yeah. So 4 touches with phone calls, 26 touches bi-weekly, an email offering or some type of information or value to the customer. 2 touches, events and get-togethers and parties. And then 4 touches, promotional direct mail, magnets, calendars, little postcards, whatever. Need to go over any of that again? There's a lot of numbers. Okay, cool.
No, they're gone already.
I know.
I don't know.
I remember the 8 and 8, you know.
Yeah. So it's the 36 touch. You hear him say it all the time. 36 touch, 36 touch, 36 touch. That's how it breaks down. Okay, now the exceptional, the third level of the database is the exceptional. And it's automated custom communication built around triggers. This is going to be like if somebody texts you and says, hey, I saw this house pop up. Or if you have them in Paragon set up on a automatic search of Paragon and you see that Paragon has sent them something, text them or call them, hey, did you get that house I sent you? Not that Paragon sent you, but that house that I sent you. What do you think about it? Yeah, I really like it. Okay, let's go see it. So that's a purposeful, like there's a reason to call. It's in there. It's a trigger. Something has triggered you to call them. Your task list can also be a trigger to call them. So like just recently, I have a client that they're selling their house. However, they needed to wait until the baby was born. So I find out when the baby's going to be born, what's her name going to be, all this stuff. So that when that due date comes along, I can text and say, hey, has Amara come into the world yet? Or whatever you want to say. Yes, she has. She's so cute. Now they're sending me baby pictures and that kind of thing. And I can really connect with them on a personal level so that when it's time to ask them about the business stuff, it's not all about business. Like I've connected personally first. So that task list triggered me to connect with them about something that is going to eventually lead to real estate. Okay. It doesn't have to all be business, and it shouldn't all be business because this is a people business. Why use a database? Duh. You use a database because this is how you maintain everything. Like when you get to the point where you've got 600 people in your database, there is no way, even 100 people, there's no way you're going to remember who they are, why they're in your database to begin with, where you met them, what their phone number is, what their email is, what their address is. There's just no way. So you use the database to help keep track of it all and hopefully not let things fall through the cracks. So avoid the today trap and predictable return on investment.
Right.
The size of your database determines the size of your bank account. Your database holds the relationships. It makes customer information easy to handle and can help improve service and strengthen relationships. Helps avoid the today trap and take advantage of predictable ROI.
Hey, Sarah, how do you manage your time regarding your database? Because it can take a lot of time to do that. You do that at night after business hours, or
In the morning.
or just strictly in the morning? Or?
So I keep like a steno notebook, and I make myself a list of things to do on my steno notebook every day. And one of the things is command tasks. So once I've checked my email and returned any emails that are immediate, once I've scheduled any showings that need to be scheduled, something like, whatever else I need to do on my list, pull comps, that kind of thing. That command to do's is still on my task list for the day. So I know I still have to do it before I leave the office. So wherever I can fit it in, like some people time block from 9 to 10 every morning to do it. That's not always feasible for me. So I do it when I can, but I definitely do it before the end of the day. And the end of the day to me is like 2:30 because I go pick Samantha up from school. But that doesn't mean when I get home with her, I'm not pulling out my computer and continuing what I was working on.
Right.
So however you need to manage your time. If you want to do it in the morning, great. If you want to do it at night and put in your notes or whatever, great.
That's the only way I can see you can do it, is you have to do it as you can.
Yeah, that's how
because
I
you're
do
going
it.
to have other commitments.
Yeah, and the phone will ring, things will pop up, an email will come in, a title company's got an emergency and needs something, and you get pulled in 12 different directions.
Yeah,
It
because
happens.
you read all this stuff and it says, oh, I block out 9 to 11, and you're like, no, I can't.
Well, and having a steno pad, you may talk to somebody on speakerphone driving down the road.
Mhm.
And so when you get to
do.
a place and jot down a note so that you can put it in a computer
command.
later.
Yeah, and I'll talk to my phone too. Hey Siri, make a note for this, 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 and this. She's
Uh,
What do you want it to say?
I'm good, thank you.
So you use recordings at all?
I created a note. I'm good, thank you.
I'm good, thank you. I use recording some. If I'm driving, I'll ask her to make a note, and then when I get to wherever I'm going, I'll just transfer that note either onto my Stenopad or in Command, whatever I can do, and delete it from there.
Because that'd be helpful for me, you know.
Yeah, it's super easy. And eventually, the Keller Williams app, Kelly, was supposed to be like an AI, like Miss Siri here. It didn't pan out immediately like they wanted it to. Eventually, I think that it will. Eventually, I think we'll be able to say, hey, Kelly, put a note in the contact for this person, and she'll do it. It's just not there yet. So use what we have as best you can. So it'll be really cool when it is to that technology. All right, 2 types of business, today's and tomorrow's. Without a database, your business is built only for today. That's so true. I mean, gosh, my task list is all about tomorrow and then in the next week or whatever. And I'll set tasks, you know, a year out. If it's somebody that's like, hey, we're not quite ready yet. We've had, you know, a job transfer and now the lender says we have to wait 2 years. Put a task in there for 6 months from now and check in with them, or a year from now, check in with them and put a note. That way, a year from now, there's no way I'm going to remember why I'm checking in with them. But if my note says you talked on February 2nd, they had a job change, the lender said they needed to wait, then when I call them, how'd that job change go? Are you still there? Would you like to talk to the lender to see if you're still a year out or see if anything else has changed? Maybe there's a new loan program where you don't have to wait another year and check in with them. So it doesn't matter how long you put it out, just put it in there so that you don't forget about it and drop that ball. Because if they're ready to buy and you haven't reached out to them, they're going to use somebody else. Why use a database? Again, look at all these little people. Look at them. All right,
That's gonna give me a seizure.
I know. Don't start blinking. These are 100 people in your market. Out of the 100 people, 65 are looking to be homeowners and 35 are not. Out of the 65, 58 of those people are off the market, and the remaining 7 people are your today business. If an agent is working without a database that's only focused on today's business, they're focused on finding the orphan out of those 7 people. The one person. Okay, so we want you to be able to work with all 100 people. People move every 10 years according to NAR. If they're only focusing on people doing business today, they're only focusing on 10% of the business that can be done. If you consider all the contacts as potential clients, aka your tomorrow business, not your today business, they automatically have a much bigger market. So taking control of the database and having a consistent approach to the contacts is how you build a path to your future. So I call it your irons in the fire. So you want to have a whole bunch of irons in the fire because you never know when they're going to come out and be ready. If you've got one iron in the fire and maybe the fire gets a little cold or whatever, that person may not do anything. Now you got to go find another iron. But if you've got 10 irons in the fire and only 2 of them come out, that's more than if you would have only had the one iron in there. So have a bunch of things going on at one time. And I'm going to tell you, they're probably all going to come out of the fire at the same time. But that's okay because you can get through it. And that's why it's good to have Keller Williams, because you've got a whole bunch of people that will help you. You've got people that'll go show a house if you're not able to. You've got people that'll help you write up a contract if you're not sure how to do it. You've got Melissa to answer the phone. There's all kinds of resources. But get the irons in the fire so that you've got the future business. That's your tomorrow business. So don't just be looking for one person. And if you're only working with one person, once that person's closed, who else do you have? You know, if you've got 10 irons and one person comes out, you work with that one person while keeping those irons hot. So when this one closes, someone else is soon to come out of that fire. Okay. All right. Take advantage of predictable ROI. For every $1 that you invest in your business activities, expect at least $14 in return. That's pretty good. 14% is pretty good. Some KW agents have reported an ROI as high as 40-1. A 40-1 ratio is possible by communicating consistently with your database, specifically your sphere of influence. It's possible to see a higher ROI through gaining repeat and referral business through your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is where it's at. I mean, the people you have in your phone already is where your business is going to come from. And it may not be them directly, but it may be them saying, hey, I have a friend who's looking to buy, or I know someone moving to the area or moving away from the area. I work with a guy who got transferred and needs to sell his house. Your sphere of influence is where your business is at. 100%. You can go knock on as many doors as you want to. You can go hold as many open houses as you want to. If you're not talking to the people you already know and that already trust you, you're missing the mark. You're missing a lot of business. That's where it's at. There will be 3 associated costs: generating the lead, converting the lead to a customer, and then converting the customer into a referral. So you've got the lead, now they're a customer, and then after that closing, you want to ask them for more business. Typically, if you do a good job, they'll give you more business. To take advantage of the predictable ROI, 3 important considerations. There we go. Lowest lead cost. The cheapest customer acquisition strategy is to work with existing customers and people who know and like you. Your sphere of influence. The lowest conversion cost. When properly built and maintained, a database will actually end up producing its own leads in the form of repeat clients and referrals. And it will also have the lowest conversion cost. Once something's closed, don't never contact them again. Set reminders to check in with them 30 days. Hey, how are you liking your house? Do you have any home warranty issues you need to submit a home warranty request on? Here's your home warranty information in case you lost it in the move, which happens all the time. Have you gotten your deed in the mail? Don't forget to go file your homestead exemption so your taxes don't double. Little things like that, because when they have moved, it is a whirlwind. They don't know what's up from down, and they need help. So reach out to them 30 days, a week, whatever, after closing, and check in with them and see if they need help with anything.
And appliance warranties, you throw them in the drawer and you haven't applied for them.
Exactly. Or
rebates even on some stuff.
Any little thing, just check in with them. A year later, send them a happy anniversary card for their home closing. Are you still loving your home? Do you have anybody that you think would want to move to the neighborhood? If you're not loving your home, let's sell it. Just reach out to them. Don't let it go after closing. It pays for itself. A database makes it easier to do consistent follow-up. And when you're good at consistent follow-up, the resulting leads will end up paying for themselves. And they really do. There are 3. Those are okay. I'm trying to read through all of this. Okay. All right, moving on. Do you all want to take a break before we go into the next section? You pee or water or anything?
You? Go ahead. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. Develop your database. Feed it consistently, segment it into groups, and engage with a touch campaign, which we already talked about. I don't like to do, but you can. And then tend it over time. It's kind of like a garden. You have to kind of water it, cultivate it. Yeah. Love on it a little bit, talk to it nicely. All right. 2 ways to feed the database: prospecting and marketing. Marketing requires money. It's passive, meaning you wait for the leads to find you. You put out an ad campaign and you hope that somebody clicks on it, or you send out a postcard and you hope somebody doesn't throw it away immediately, that kind of thing. There is business in marketing. You just got to be careful what type of marketing you do, how much you put into it, because you want to make sure you get the money back out of it. So, but it's a benefit. Prospecting requires time. It is proactive. You're doing the groundwork. You're actually dialing the number and calling somebody instead of waiting for them to call you. And one approach is not the best approach. It depends on what it is you're doing, how much time you're putting into it, but also where do your talents lie. If your talents lie in the phone call, then make phone calls. But if you hate the phone, you hate talking on the phone, then go shake some hands. So however you're doing it is fine, just do it. And don't just do one thing. Try a couple of different things, see what works, what doesn't work. If it's not working for you or you're not comfortable with it, or if it's working in a manner of getting you business, but you're not comfortable with it, practice it more and get more comfortable with it so that you can grow your business. Just because you're not good at it right now doesn't mean you can't be if it's something that you want to do and it's going to help your business. So do a few different things and figure out what works. Okay. All right, so we're talking about tags. So here's some example tags that they recommend that you use. Let's see, someone who hasn't done any business, active client, past client, someone who's referred business, hobbies and interests, like fishing or, you know, wine and cheese parties, whatever it is. Property type, like if they are looking for land or if they own land. If they want a condo or if they own a condo, things like that. If they're investors, put that in there. If they're vendors, like your home inspectors, lenders, title companies, put those in there too. Some other ones that we use a lot are a buyer tag and a seller tag, sphere of influence tag, referral. So we have several different referral tags because we have people we refer out and then people that are referred to us. But they don't only get referred to us by Keller Williams agents. So we have a tag for referred by a Keller Williams agent and referred by an outside agent or referred by your sphere of influence. So we have several different ones and we classify them each differently. But tags are really important. You can sort by them and, you know, narrow things down and also remember who it is you're talking to in other ways rather than just reading notes. We also have a monthly newsletter tag. So when we go to send out a monthly newsletter, we pull everybody with that tag and just do like a mass email to that whole list.
Is that a house-made home newsletter or
Yeah,
KW?
we create it. Yeah, I think that KW, or I think Command does have a newsletter you can send. You may have to do some personalizing to it, but I think they do have one. But you can create one. There's templates in there that you can use to create a newsletter. You can have whatever you want in it. But yeah, we create it every month. We put things in it like a vendor spotlight, listing, featured listing, events going on around the area for that month, things like that. So it's fun. Okay. Your tags can also be categorized with color. So you can make them pretty if you want. Any way that you can, you know, classify people that'll help you is good. All right, touch campaigns. So this is going back to what they said before with the leads versus contacts, how many times you touch them, how you touch them. Sounds a little weird when I said that. So leads.
Yeah, I was offended by it.
I bet you were. Call CNN. So leads are people you have the right to at least have a one-way conversation with. And you want to put them on a touch campaign of 19 touches to connect with them. So again, it's the quarterly, monthly, promotional, and then annually. And you can systematically keep in touch with your customers this way. So if you put them on a campaign, and the campaign can be anything with, and by campaign I mean smart plan, it can just be a reminder to you, hey, this is, you know, the time you need to touch them for the 7th time. Reach out for the 7th time. The next week, reach out for the 8th time, whatever it is, just to remind yourself. As you grow your business, you'll need to focus on staying in touch with the database through these campaigns or smart plans or just the task list, however you want to do it. I really just do the task list just because that's how I've always done it. But it doesn't mean it's right for you. So they give you the tools. If you want to do it a different way, they give you the tools to do that. All right, and then the contacts are connected by permission or because you know them and they're interactive and value-based. So these are the people that you have two-way conversations with. So as soon as a lead is communicating with you about anything, even if it's just shooting the breeze, they really need to become a contact because they've answered the phone, they've talked to you, or they've returned an email and responded asked another question, whatever the case is, but it's now gone from a one-way conversation to a two-way conversation. So your leads, I mean, I have leads in my database I've been reaching out to for 2 years, you know, via text or email or phone call or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they haven't ever responded, or maybe they've responded once and never again. I would still consider that a lead because it didn't turn into a conversation. And they may never turn into a contact, and that's perfectly fine. They're still in there. If they ever do, then I've got the notes on how they ended up in my database.
Now, if they haven't been a productive lead, say 2 years or whatever, you change the way you contact them. Perhaps instead of emailing them, you'll text them this time. Just
Yeah,
to
I
make sure
do.
they're not trash canning your.
Yeah, I do it way before 2 years. Like if I've called somebody 3 times and they're not responding that way, then I'll text them. If I've texted them and they're not responding, I'll email them.
Right.
And then from there, 1 month I may call them, the next month I'll text them, the next month I'll email them, and just rotate it out and cycle it until I get something.
And you keep notes on what you've done.
And
when.
then she knocks on their door.
Yeah.
Says, why haven't you been answering?
It says,
Yeah.
have you heard of the cat attacks? In your
I've been trying to reach you to tell you about the cats.
You're in danger, imminent danger.
But if I have an address, I'll send them a handwritten note too. Hey, I've been trying to reach you. I got your number from whatever. I'd love to help you. Here's my business card so you know how to contact me, and just slip it in the mail. People love handwritten note cards because nobody ever does it anymore.
Yeah.
All right, 2 ways to tend a database. Build a culture around testimonials and reviews. So when you're just starting out, it's hard to get testimonials because nobody's worked with you yet. However, it's not impossible. Even if you just talk to somebody, if you feel like the conversation went really well, or if you showed them a couple houses and they just decided not to buy, or the lender says they can't buy for a year, ask them for a testimonial. Send them a link to Zillow even to leave a review on your Zillow page. Just kind of outlining, you know, that you spent time with them, even though they weren't able to do anything, answer all their questions, whatever the case is, get them however you can, even if it's not somebody that you've actually closed on something with, and start building that referral database that way. Okay, getting to know someone allows you to treat them like a friend or actually become friends, which I've done with a lot of clients. When you do this, you're building a culture that's not about what customers pay you, but how they perceive you. This will show up in your reviews and testimonials, and they will come back to you over and over and over again if they feel like it's not about the money. If it's about the relationships, helping them get from house A to house B or whatever, they will use you over and over, and they'll refer you to their friends too, because they want their friends treated the same way.
Okay, thank you.
All right, regularly update and prune your database. Just like we're talking with the garden, you gotta love on it a little bit. So in addition to leveraging your sphere of influence for testimonials and reviews, it's important to make sure they're regularly updated, and you should be using their calls with your contacts to make sure they have the most up-to-date contact information, especially once a year. And the end of the year is a really good time to do that. Or the end or the beginning of the year. Just contact everybody in any way you can and say, hey, I'm glad I was able to reach you. Now I know I have the correct phone number for you. Can I just make sure I have a good email address for you? Because I know things change over time. And just confirm that you have the good information for them. Pruning your database regularly is also just as important as having the right information to make sure the database is as healthy as it can be. You should be able to answer the 3 questions. Are the right people in your database? Is the data accurate? And are they in the correct groups? So somebody may change from a buyer to a seller. You need to make sure you have that right tag on there. They may change from being local to they're no longer local, but they may be local later. You know, you got to change those tags. Oh my gosh, an important one too, if somebody passes away, add a tag that says deceased so that you're not trying to call them, or you don't call their widow or widower and ask for them or something like that because they're deceased. So add a tag for deceased, super important. And put a note and maybe send a handwritten card. So sorry for your loss, that kind of thing. Yeah, make sure that it's not just about the business that you've lost because someone has passed away. Keep the relationship going. Divorced as well, add a divorce tag if you know about it.
And in both cases, they may want to move.
They may want to move, yeah, especially if it's like the last parent
Downsize.
that has passed away and now the
Yep.
kids are having to deal with the house.
Yep.
They do not want to deal with that house. They just want help getting rid of it. Estate sales, a dumpster company referral, these college hunks hauling junk or whatever, the been there, done that. Give them resources to help them without asking for the business of selling the house. Hey, I heard about the loss in your family. I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do to help make this a better time for y'all? Like, is there anything I can do, any resources I might have that you're looking for? A contact to a funeral home, like anything, any little thing. Maybe it's something that they haven't yet thought of. Like, do you know who their home insurance was? Is there something that you need to, I don't know, anything, think of whatever and help them with that, and they'll really appreciate it. But yeah, the kids of the parents, they don't want to deal with the house. They just want it gone. At the same time, if there's multiple siblings, they want the most out of it. Yeah, and they fight over it. So be really sensitive to that, because they'll fight over every little thing. All right, recaps and ahas. What's something that you're going to implement that we've talked about?
Well, for me, it's updating my database regularly because I'm already behind. You know,
It's easy to get behind.
I've got hard notes, hard copies and notes on people, but haven't put them in.
Yeah.
And especially emails,
Mhm.
and then follow up with the smart plan and get them regular correspondence.
Yeah, and Command has a database of smart plans already created, and you can edit it and adjust it however you want, but you can also create your own. You can figure out how to do that and create a test one and send it to yourself and see what it looks like. If you can figure out how to create your own, and if that helps you, go for it.
The good thing is also that if you have guys like from former jobs that you've had, you've got them tagged
Yeah,
and they're all related already.
yeah,
And so it's like create your own group,
there you go.
There
you go. Yeah, Ben worked at Austell for 9 years, and he has an Austell tag that if it's somebody he worked with in his database, he has an Austell tag on it.
Yeah, he's got the Honeywell
There
and
you
the
go.
Shell tags.
Absolutely, easy peasy. You can send them all a Christmas card, pull them up. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Tell me if you need help. They get
And they all know
promotions
me,
all
so
the
I
time.
can act crazy if I want to.
You
They
be
get it.
yourself.
They get it, right. See, I love the guys.
Yeah.
They're my friends.
That's why your sphere of influence is so great, because it's people that already know you
And accept you.
and they know your sense of humor. They know your challenges. You know their sense of humor. You know their challenges. And if you ask a weird question, it's not as weird.
It's
if
not as
somebody that
They
you already
know where you're coming
I
from.
used to
Yeah.
like to make them blush.
And you can't do that with everybody.
You really can't. You got to take.
No,
the
I
right
know, there
people.
are certain guys,
Yeah, but you
but
got to
there
pick the
are,
right
there are
people.
guys that I can still be me with.
Exactly. And those guys will refer you to other people too.
Well, they know your work ethic,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
know you're kidding around, but they know deep down that you're gonna get them taken care of. because
Right.
They've worked with you before.
Right.
So that's it's a good thing to bank on.
I like it.
Well, and so for me, all of my contacts, everybody in Command for me are contacts. And I have the ones that I'm actively working with marked as leads.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I've got to go and I've got to fix.
And by marked as
Thanks.
leads, you have the little L
Yeah,
checked? Okay. Yeah, so you can just go reverse it.
yeah.
Or, I mean, if that's how you want to work it, it's your database, if that's how you want to classify them. But for
Yeah.
these purposes, just know in your head that it's flipped,
Yeah.
you know, for
No,
when you're
but
running
I'll
stuff.
fix it.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
So, okay, let's see. We've got anybody in Orange Beach, y'all want to contribute anything? Any ahas? Sylvia?
I think they're muted. I mean, we
They are
have
muted,
heard,
but
but they could come in.
y'all good? Okay.
Oh, it's trying to unmute. Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Feel free to interrupt if y'all have a question or whatever, just interrupt. I know you're there.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Daily success habits. All right, so this is the Spark portion of the Spark 4. Goals to set your career on fire. 10 contacts added. So we talked about goals in the very beginning. How many contacts you want to make per day, per week, per month, per quarter, per year. So just get your career on fire, spark it. 10 contacts added, 10 conversations a day, not just phone calls made, but actual people conversing with you. 10 handwritten note cards with a business card put in there, and 10 home previews a week. Now this can be Keller Williams listings, going to 10 open houses on a Sunday, Saturday or Sunday or whatever, scheduling showings through Paragon and Showing Time for the houses on the hot sheet that you want to look at. If you're doing that, make sure the listing agent knows that you're previewing it. Okay, that you don't actually have a buyer with you, but just put a note in there that says previewing. And that'll tell them, like if the seller is stressing out about cleaning it, that'll tell them that you don't have somebody with you. It's just you. It doesn't need to be perfect.
Just put your cat in the cage.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
the cat in the cage. Don't let the bobcat roam. Okay, perfect. But yeah, if you do those things, you'll get a good handle on your business there. All right, lead generate, uncover motivations, identify objections, close deals, speak in terms the customer understands, and build confidence. These are the things that we want to practice scripts for. Let's see. All right, so let's touch on each of these a little bit with just some, we can just do some scripts together here. Do you guys, Sylvia and the OB office, do y'all want to participate in scripts from afar, or do you want to listen?
I'll listen. Oh, I can listen.
All right, cool.
All right, thank you.
And I can be either the client or the agent or whatever, or y'all can do it, or whatever you want to do. So let's practice a lead generating script. So y'all are door knocking, right? You said you're going to do some door knocking.
We're planning on it, yes.
Okay, so let's practice that for you. Let's do a door knocking script. Do you want me to be the agent or the owner of the home? Whose home you're door knocking
I
on?
think be the agent so
Oh,
that we
definitely
get.
be the agent.
Yeah,
All right, because then we're gonna flip it and let y'all do it.
I'm gonna throw you some crazy stuff.
No. I mean, just, hey, we're the couple at the house. So,
Yeah, be the couple at the house. You can be in your PJs if you want, for all I care.
you know.
Watching the game, whatever.
Oh my gosh, I still.
Got to change my
I'm
PJs.
kidding.
We're all in good company. Okay.
So knock.
Yep. So ding dong. We answer the door.
Hello.
Hey, I'm Sarah. I don't know if you know me, but I'm one of your neighbors. I live right down the road, and I just wanted to drop off some neighborhood statistics and just see if you had any questions about this or if you had thought about moving. It's a really hot market right now, so I just want to make sure you know that I'm right down the road if you need anything.
Well, we were kind of thinking about downsizing.
Downsizing?
Yeah,
Okay.
the house is too huge, the yard's too much to take care of. I mean, it's not that big, but you know, it's a little more than we can handle.
More than what you want.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
How big is your house right now?
about 2,500.
Okay. Is it 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms? 4
3.5.
bedrooms. Okay. Well, if you look on these comps that I've printed out for the neighborhood, the 4-bedroom homes in the neighborhood are selling for about $50,000 more than the 3 bedrooms. So do you know what kind of equity you might have in the home, or is that something you'd like to talk more about?
We have no idea.
No idea. Okay. Well, it may be a good idea to sit down and talk about that then. If you are looking to downsize, I think you can probably sell it pretty quickly, and then we can talk about what the numbers look like aside from what the time frame looks like. If I were to sell it quickly, would that be a problem for you?
Only if we don't have a place to live.
Only They need to
No,
find a
we
place
need
live,
to
too.
plan a rental or something and maybe some storage.
Sure.
Ahead of time,
Sure.
just in case, we're not ready.
Are you wanting to stay in the area?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So you have a 4-bedroom right now. Are you wanting, when you say downsize, do you want a 3-bedroom or like a small little 1-bedroom?
We have to have like a 3,
Okay,
just for practicality.
and you mentioned yard maintenance. Do you want like no yard
Just
maintenance?
a patio home type situation where we've got a postage stamp size lot.
I like one of those container homes.
That would be
Kind of
fun.
Tiny home.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a bridge down
In
the
the
street.
woods.
in the woods.
Yeah, so we don't have any grass.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's
to
what I'm looking
let
for.
nature take care of itself.
Right.
Yeah, that would be awesome. There are some properties that are different like that. It's a little difficult to finance them though, because they are so different. It's hard to get appraisals done on them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so would you need to finance something or could you pay cash for something like that?
Well, it depends on how much we, how much equity we have
Yeah,
in this place.
so if I can sell it for the right amount, you get the equity out of it,
Yeah,
and you can take that
and some
and,
savings. And this and that.
yeah,
Well, we've seen some homes in our neighborhood sitting on the market longer than you would think they should.
yeah,
And we're not quite sure why that is, but we're kind of assuming they're overpricing them.
could be. It could also be
Because they're building new
condition.
homes just down the street, so you have to compete with those.
Yeah, you're always, any neighborhood in the area is gonna be competing with new construction. And the houses in this neighborhood are typically between 10 and 12 years old. So you're competing with a new roof versus a 10-year-old roof, a new HVAC versus a 10-year-old HVAC. And you're always gonna be competing with that. Have y'all made any improvements to your home to compensate for those things?
We did add not roof wise, but our house has a generator. We did a whole house generator.
That's a great point. The new construction homes are not getting generators
It's a
at all.
Generac, and then we did a small patio out back, extension off the back.
Yeah, okay. So we're, again, with the new construction ones, they may have a minimal little, patio right out the door.
And this home is less than 5 years old, so,
Okay,
you have that going for you.
it's a
As
little
far as
closer
the
to
gold
that
fortified
mid-range.
and also gold fortified.
Okay, fantastic. So I would like to schedule a time for us to really sit down and I can pull some comps for your specific home as opposed to what I've done here, which is the whole neighborhood. When would be a good time for me to come back and sit down with y'all to talk about those numbers? I'm open Saturday from about noon to 2 o'clock. Would that work?
I think noon would be fabulous.
Noon would be good on Saturday? Okay, perfect. So today's Thursday. That'll give me a good day to really, line some things up and work out the numbers. Let me give you my card. Here you go. If anything changes or if you have a general question you want to ask before Saturday, please don't hesitate to call me or text me even, however you want to reach out to me, it's perfectly fine. And I will see you Saturday at noon with some additional information.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you
Look
so
forward
much.
to it.
Y'all have a good afternoon. Thanks
Yes,
for
ma'am.
answering the door.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
See you later.
I think that you were so much more agreeable than what,
Than what people
I
would
mean,
be.
yeah, I mean, Keith was like, yeah, I'm wanting to sell.
Yeah.
Though I think that the idea was to be objectionable.
Well, we can do another one like that.
Yeah, I can be like the
Yeah.
bad guy.
No.
I mean,
I
a
think-
lot of times when you're door knocking, they'll
Maybe
answer the
decide-
door, you give them what they want, and they close the door, and that's it. And that's perfectly fine. The more doors you knock on, the more likely you are to have one person want to have a conversation like that with you. It does happen. So just keep knocking, If you get to the door number 10 and you're like, well, I was only gonna do 10, but I haven't had a conversation with anybody, keep going until you have that conversation.
Right, well, because, I mean, if you haven't had a conversation, then you still got another 30 minutes.
Exactly. It probably went
I
pretty
mean-
quick if you haven't had a conversation with somebody. So keep going because the goal is to have a conversation, get somebody in your database and help somebody sell their home or get a referral
Right,
as well.
right.
So if you haven't had a conversation, keep knocking on the doors until you have one. Where are y'all door knocking? Is it your neighborhood?
We're gonna door knock in our neighborhood.
Okay. So that I would definitely go with something in hand, pull some comps, and it doesn't have to be a CMA that's 25 pages long. It can be a postcard size thing that just has average home sales price in the neighborhood, average days on market, and the average size of the home. And just something to give them that may make them ask some more questions or want more information.
Now, something I has been going through my mind is, how do you market a home that's competing with new construction right down the street? I mean, you got a home that you're gonna ask the same as for a brand new one,
Yeah,
and it's got holes in the wall,
yeah.
it's got where pictures were hung.
I mean, you have to make sure condition is great. The
Right.
condition has to be, the paint has to be updated, the floors have to be updated. If there's Formica and the new constructions are selling for the same price with granite, they may need to consider upgrading to granite. You have to make sure the condition is where it's at. You can also market to the fact that new construction is gonna take 6 months to be finished. So if you're just starting and you need a home within 30 days, you're not gonna want a new construction because they're selling before they could get to that point. So,
Well, and actually, I don't want to get so specific talking about our neighborhood, but neighborhoods in general.
mhm,
But in some neighborhoods, they started off brick and now they're going to the siding. And
yes, the new
And so-
construction, Yeah.
so the older homes are all brick veneer.
mhm,
In
And
this
some people
environment.
don't, want the siding, whereas some people, it's just it's a
Yeah.
preference thing.
and that's where you can market yourself as a professional and being able to take professional photos of the home and market it in a professional way to highlight those features like that. So your write-up in the MLS is going to mention the full brick. It's going to mention the screen and patio. It's going to mention the granite countertops, the hardwood floors, as opposed to the luxury vinyl plank that the DR is putting in, which a lot of people like better because it's prettier, whatever. Some people like the LVP better, which is perfectly fine because it's a little more waterproof, that kind of thing. But you as a professional is
Right.
able to market it
You just
better.
need to market the strengths.
Right, exactly.
Accentuate the positives. Yeah.
Point out the assets. Okay, so in that, I uncovered motivations where you said you were wanting to downsize, you wanted a smaller yard and that kind of thing. Identifying objections, and then closing the deal. Closing the deal in that means scheduling that appointment. So we closed it, we got to the next appointment. So you want to kind of, just like a phone conversation, you want to hit on all those LP mama things. Where are you wanting to move to? What's your motivation? We talked a little bit about price with me saying your 4-bedroom could get $50,000 more than these 3 bedrooms over here. So talked a little bit about that, but we're going to go into more detail on that in the appointment on Saturday. And then speaking in terms that the customer understands, that's just me asking you some more questions. Like, when you say that you want a smaller yard, what does that look like? Does that mean no yard, or that means no yard to you, postage size, but that means in the woods to you? So getting, speaking those terms and getting to those, conclusions, and then also talking about mortgages. If I mention mortgage, I want to make sure you understand why I'm mentioning that. So it's not about the money. I'm not coming out saying how much can you afford or are you paying cash? It's okay, well, those types of properties are difficult to finance because of the appraisal. Are you able to pay cash for something like that if that's what you want? And I let you open it up to that by saying you wanted a weird house. And then I can tell you why that's fantastic because they're really cool. However, you got to do it the right way.
And it also helps corral the dreamer, the fantastical,
And setting
thinker.
expectations too,
High
because
expectation.
I don't want you to think you can buy that on a mortgage if you can't.
Right.
Because if we go in and you fall in love with it, if I find you the perfect shipping container house and you fall in love with it, I want you to be able to get it. I don't want you to call a lender and the lender shut you down, and now I look bad because I didn't tell you the lender was gonna shut you down, even though I knew they would.
Mhm.
So I want you to actually have the expectations set that are realistic. So, and it's all in conversation.
Well, and you know, something else that, that came up that hasn't come up before is that we don't have to do everything in that one conversation.
Absolutely.
Get the appointment so that you have time to go back and do the specifics with your CMA
Mhm.
that's more tailored to their property.
Exactly.
And, you know,
Because I'll tell you, I don't like doing a CMA for a house I haven't looked at,
no,
because they could tell you all day long it looks fantastic, and you walk in there and it's a crap hole.
the
that no one's
one,
gonna buy.
the one listing appointment that I had, and everyone said, it's wonderful, it's great, it's fantastic. And so everything that I could find, and there wasn't a lot,
Mhm.
but I mean, so there was like nothing within 10 miles like this property.
Yeah.
And so I had to like really go out and anyway, I got there and I walked in and I'm sure I was pulling
Yeah.
my jaw up.
It happens all the time.
And since this was my first listing appointment, I was unprepared.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had unrealistic
It
expectations.
So
happens
I
all
I
the
know
time.
that I did not do a good job.
Vetting the,
Yeah.
Well,
that
no, I
comes-
just didn't do a good job, period.
Yeah, that comes from experience though. Like I did those when I was first starting out too, and over time I realized I cannot quote them a price without being in the home, walking around the home, and then pulling comps, like go back to the office. So a lot of times, if it's not somebody that I know personally and I know that they keep their home clean or whatever, I will schedule like a pre-listing appointment just to familiarize myself with the house. And then I'll say, okay, now let me go back to the office, pull some comps, do my numbers, and let's talk again tomorrow. I will call you tomorrow at 2:00
Right.
and we'll go over the numbers. Or would you rather meet in person? Great, tomorrow at 5:30 when you get off work, I'll come by with all of this in hand, and then we can make a decision from there. It's gonna make you look way more prepared.
Sure.
And you know that your numbers are right, so you're confident. So, comment, Sylvia?
Oh, no, I'm just listening.
Okay, you're good.
Thank you.
so you feel like, for instance, having trouble finding comps in the immediate area, that finding something similar and showing that to your seller and saying, this is what the market expects, and this is what you have. And I'm just being honest with you, you gotta
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah, so be honest, but you can also kind of put it on them, like, hey, these are the 3 homes in your neighborhood that have sold in the past 6 months. They had hardwood floors, they had granite, they had no carpet in the bedrooms, it was all hardwood throughout. They have a screen and patio, it's full brick, bonus room over the garage, whatever the case is. And yours has carpet in the living room, Formica countertops. What would you pay for your house versus these houses? And let them make that decision.
Uh-huh.
And then it's not coming from you, or you're not attacking them. They've
Right,
come to that
that's-
realization.
That's how
on
you
their
gotta
own.
get the balance there, you know.
Yeah. And then you
Let
can,
them understand.
yeah, and then you can say, if you want to sell for this price, you need to do these things. If you want to sell at this price, then the house is good the way it is, and give them that option. Because if they don't have the cash to put into it to upgrade it,
Mhm.
then they need to know you can still sell it. It's just not going to sell for as much. And let them make that
You don't
decision.
have as much
And
equity.
say, and there may be a buyer out there that can
Absolutely.
only pay this much
And may love, they
You-
just want a home.
and may just want a roof
Yeah.
and may want to make those improvements, as a phased
Maybe they
thing,
want
you
to
know.
pick their flooring color or their granite color.
They,
and don't
they
want
may
you
want to
it.
do the countertops this year. They may want to do the floors
Right.
in 3 years.
We can still
Things,
sell
You
it.
know,
It's just not gonna be for this price, it's gonna be for
Right.
this price.
Right.
Are you okay with that? Yes, okay, great, sign here.
Yeah,
So, and you can still do it, you just have to be careful the expectations that you set. You don't wanna set expectations that are unrealistic, and you don't wanna make promises you can't keep.
that's right.
Ever. The only promise that you want to make is that you will do your best.
Right.
Anything else is up in the air because you're relying on so many other people. You can't even promise that you can close on the date that's in the contract because you're relying on the title company and the lender and the buyer to get their contract, their documents to the lender in time. You can't promise anything other than what you yourself will do, which is the best you can do. That's it. So, okay. All right, do we want to do any other script practice? Do y'all want to try it with me as the owner of the
Go
home?
ahead, you can practice.
No, you do it. You're
Hey,
You're
Mr.
doing
look.
it together.
No,
You're door knocking together. Do it together.
Okay, I gotta get, I gotta get my,
Yeah,
get in the
get your
game, you know what I
bearings,
mean?
get your
Gotta
bearings.
reshuffle the deck. here.
While you do that, I'm gonna go warm up my coffee.
Good idea.
Pause.
Let's see, this is where I need my list. On my top.
Okay, I'm back and I've put on my house shoes and taken off my shower cap and I'm ready to answer the door. Hello.
Go ahead. Yeah, you go.
Pause, start over.
You know.
Okay, knock. Hello. Hello.
Hi there. Good afternoon.
Hello.
We are the Millers, Keith and Rebecca. We're one of your neighbors. And are you, and I've got the name already, because I've already gone through the neighborhood and I know like all of the owners. And so I'm going to verify the person.
Okay.
And so, are you Mary Smith?
Yes, I'm married. How can I help you?
Okay, well.
Did my dog get out again?
No. Like I said, we're one of your neighbors. Live up on Kellogg, and we are realtors. And we were going through the neighborhood Facebook page and noticed that you are not on the Facebook page. And we were just wondering if you knew about the Facebook page.
Oh, I didn't know about the Facebook page. What's it called? Is it just the name of the neighborhood?
Well, it is, but it's a private page, so you wouldn't find it if you just searched for it. So if I add you as a friend, then I can send you an invitation if you want to be part of that page, on the page.
What kinds of things are on the page?
Well, community events and, like your dog, if your dog does get out and someone comes across your dog, they'll post a picture and say, this dog is, on such and such a street or whatever. And,
Oh, wow. That's
yeah.
so nice of people. They actually do that?
Yeah, they do.
They don't just take my dog to the pound?
No dogs to the pound. Yeah, and so things like that, and like we've gotten together for a barbecue before, and all the children in the neighborhood. Do you have children?
No, I don't have any children, but I see them all riding their bikes on the road.
Sure. And,
Bunch of punks.
Sometimes they get into trouble too.
I
So-
almost ran over one of them.
Yeah, you never.
You know what I mean.
No, but yeah, so there are events with the children too, but so people post things, get-togethers, like parades for the children. There was the Yardy Gras recently.
Yeah, that was fun.
If you saw decorations in the yards, that's what they did with COVID going on and everything, and since Mardi Gras was canceled. Yeah. So it's a kind of community outreach, whatever, just for our neighborhood.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and so we didn't know about it for the first year that we were here. And so since we've gotten into real estate, we realized that the Facebook page was a great place to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that everyone in the neighborhood, was on the page if they wanted to be.
Okay. It's okay. Just keep going. You're good.
Anyway, and so some of the homes have come up for sale in the neighborhood, and a lot of people choose to sell their homes after they've been in them for 2 years. And, as you know, our neighborhood is 3 years old, and the market is very hot. And so we thought we would reach out to all of our neighbors and let them know that we are realtors, and that if there's anything that we can do for them, that we're here. If they are interested in taking advantage of the fact that Baldwin County has a super low inventory, and there are a lot of people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood. As you know, that there are, with all the new construction, there are 11 homes pending in this neighborhood, but there are none actively for sale.
Wow. Okay, so there's people wanting to live here.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's definitely people wanting in this neighborhood, but
Well,
there's
and I'm not
no
wanting-
inventory.
Yeah, and I'm not wanting to sell right now, but maybe in the future, for sure. I mean, I've just moved in, like you said, it's only a few years ago, and I'm happy where I'm at right now, but maybe.
Well,
later.
and that's great. We like being your neighbor. And it's nice to meet you.
You
finally.
too,
And we
yeah.
can help you keep track of the equity that you're gaining on a yearly basis. We'll keep you updated
Yeah, that'd be cool.
because it's accelerating at an amazing pace in this county, and particularly in this area of the county. And
So the prices
you're
are going up.
acquiring equity every day. And
Yeah.
it's amazing to us. We see it. And I just wish I had more money to use that, but it's just fun to watch.
Yeah,
And people don't understand how quickly they're accumulating wealth.
so even though I've only been here for 2 years, I've already got equity in the house, you think?
That's right.
Okay.
It's been going up according to what I saw yesterday, about 9% a year.
Wow.
So that's pretty good. That's above average. It's about 6%, I believe, in the past. And it's 9
Wow.
currently.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's pretty awesome to know, because my 401k is doing excellent, but real estate is steady.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'd love to be on the Facebook page and see you around the neighborhood and
I look forward
I'm
to
ready
seeing
to-
you at the community events.
yeah.
I can friend you right now.
Okay.
You're on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Let's do that.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the info.
See you at the pool.
Thank you. See you at the pool. I like that with we can help keep your equity up to date, or help you know what your equity is. I like that. I would just say fewer words, maybe ask more questions, like say a few words and then ask a question, let them talk. Say a few words or answer their question, ask a question, that kind of thing. And the more doors you knock on, you'll get the hang of it. So,
Yeah.
Right.
I am terrible at acting.
It's not
It's-
acting.
This is acting.
This is but,
acting.
Yeah.
It's so much better when it's the person
Real life.
standing there.
Yeah.
I don't act. This is the real me. So, look,
It is what it is.
I don't
You get
want
what
to,
you get.
if I offend you, I apologize, but I'm just kidding, okay? Can't take a joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not the realtor for you.
that's right. Because we're gonna have fun when we do this. I'm not gonna If you're a sourpuss, go somewhere else.
Maybe go door knocking by yourself.
She'll put the mask with the,
But but something you can do is, this is my crazy husband, and like right out of the gate, introduce him as the goofball, and then you set that precedent. That way, when he says something goofy, it's not like, whoa, you know what I
It
mean?
happens sometimes.
it's the head wound.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, come right out of the gate with, introducing yourself as more of a personality than a business.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I don't like stiff,
Yeah.
canned
Yeah.
things, because it's just boring.
Yeah.
It is.
There's somebody else that can be stiff and
Yeah, I don't
boring.
want to be that guy. I want to, we're going to have some fun here. Come on.
It is fun, and you want the home buying and selling experience to be a good one. And it can be very fun. It can be really stressful for them, but it can also be really fun and
But
exciting.
I want it to be stressful for me.
Yeah, you want to be
You know what I
taking
mean?
that stress off of
I'm
them.
going to relay to them that, look, I want to make this easy for you. You're not going to have to do a thing. I'm going to line these things up.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Let
knock
me
them
handle
down
the showings. Let me handle the negotiations. Let me handle the
one at a
advertising
time.
and
We're going to
marketing.
knock it off the list, and we're going to get you
Yeah.
taken care of. That's my goal here. And I don't
And
want
guess
you
what?
to feel a thing.
You pay me out of the equity in your home. If we could sell your house for this amount, I'm telling you, we could sell it for, you won't be bringing anything to the closing table. You'll be walking away with cash in hand
That's right.
via a check. So, yeah.
Yep.
You get the hang of it. It'll get easier. Answer, ask, acknowledge, ask. Just like on the phone, answer, ask, acknowledge, ask. Answer their question, follow up with another question. Acknowledge what they say, ask another question. Answer, ask, acknowledge, ask.
Very good.
LP Mama. Okay.
Hey, what is it, LP Mama?
Oh my gosh, have we not
I
gone over
forget.
LP
I
Mama?
forget.
Okay.
You've written it on the board before.
I know you
Let's do it
have,
again.
but I
It's not
apologize.
committed to memory.
It will be. Can y'all see this? Can y'all? I know so you can see it probably. Okay, so the L is location. The P is price. The first M is motivation. The first A is agent, like, are you already working with an agent? The second M is mortgage. And the last A is appointment. Location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. So that's basically the 6 talking points, the 6 levels of flow conversation. And if you hit all of them, you will get all the information you need. You don't have to hit all of them. You want to absolutely hit at least 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, the agent one is important.
They're all important. Yeah, appointment's important, even if you always want to close for the appointment, even if it's just an appointment to call them the next day. The appointment doesn't mean it has to be a sit-down appointment. It's just an expectation that they will hear from you again or see you again. Yeah, it's setting that in their mind that you're gonna, because then when you do, you have fulfilled a promise and you do what you say you're gonna do. So then it puts in their head that you're trustworthy too. Mortgage, if you're talking about price and they say, yeah, I don't want to go higher than 200. Okay, how are you coming up with the 200 number? Have you already talked to a lender? Then you slide right into mortgage. What's a lender? Okay, well, a mortgage lender is somebody that will let you know what types of financing will be good for you and for your income and your budget. They'll also let you know what your buying power is, so that we're not looking at houses that are over your budget and that are going to be uncomfortable for you to afford. Location, where do you want to be? If they're calling in on phone duty, they're calling about a specific house in a specific location. Is that the only location you're interested in? Okay, that home is in Daphne. Are you only interested in Daphne, or would Fairhope or Spanish Fort work? Oh, you hate Fairhope? Fantastic. We'll stay away from it.
People get angry at Fairhope.
Yeah, a lot of times they do. Yeah. So it's good to hit on all of them. If they're wanting to see a property, definitely ask the agent question, because you do not want to waste your time
Right.
showing them a house if they've already got somebody they're working with. And you don't want to step on another agent's toes that you may have to do business with later. You don't want to go ahead and start on a bad foot with other agents in the business.
We'll take a little break, y'all.
Yeah, go for it. Go right ahead. We can take a break completely if you want to. It's about 10:30. So that is scripts. It'll get easier. It just takes practice. It may be a good idea, like before y'all go, to do a couple scripts, role plays just together, so that you know, number one, so you know what you're going to be discussing. Like if your goal is to get everybody attached to the neighborhood Facebook page, then just go with that goal. If it turns into something else, fantastic. If your goal is to give them the comps for the neighborhood, then just do
Well,
that.
Okay, so we have a packet made up,
Okay.
and we already know the 15 homes out of 100 where the people are not on the Facebook page.
Okay. So for those.
Because I've gone through the tax records and I've gone through the Facebook page,
Okay.
and those people are missing.
Do they live in the home, or are they renting it out, or?
I don't know of anybody renting out. So that, I mean, we're gonna go knock on the door
Find out.
and find out. They
Yeah.
could be like us, where somebody just neglected
Could be.
to tell us, or, for one reason or another.
Yeah.
So
So let's do a role play real quick about that, and I'll be the agent, you be the owner. Knock, knock.
I'm sorry.
I'm the agent. Knock, knock.
Oh, okay.
Knock, knock.
Oh, hi.
Hey, are you Rebecca? Is that right?
Yes.
Hey, Rebecca, I'm Sarah Keller Williams, and I live right down the road. And I noticed we're having a neighborhood yard sale that's posted on the neighborhood Facebook page. But I noticed you weren't a part of the Facebook page, so I didn't know if you would know about the yard sale. Did you know we had a neighborhood Facebook page?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, it's a fantastic way to keep track of what's going on. If, we have, like when the hurricanes came along and the city decided they were gonna change the trash day, we posted it in the neighborhood Facebook page so everybody knew the trash day had been moved. Little things like that. Is that something that
Oh
you'd
my
be
gosh,
interested in being
yeah.
part of?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Are we friends on Facebook already? I don't think that we are.
No.
Do you mind if I add you as a friend? That way I can add you to the Facebook page, because it's a private page, so only people in the neighborhood are members of it.
I don't even know if you're.
That would be
Are we friends?
fabulous.
Awesome.
We
Okay.
might be friends.
Well, I'm gonna find
out.
you here. Is it this Rebecca right here?
Yes, that is me.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna add, and if you'll request, then I'll go in and add you to the neighborhood thing. And then when there's a pool social this summer, like there always is every summer, I'll see you then, and we'll be a familiar face.
That would be wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome to the neighborhood. I don't know how long you've been here, but welcome, and it's nice to meet you. And let me know if I can help.
And
with
did you
anything.
say there's a yard sale?
There's a yard sale, yeah, next weekend. So
Okay.
if you have some stuff you'd like to sell, just put on the Facebook page that you'd like to participate, and they'll put a sign in your yard. And
Oh.
yeah, just put your stuff out that
I'm so
morning.
glad you
and-
came by.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad as well. It's so nice to meet you. And I am a realtor with Keller Williams, and my husband works for Airbus. So if you need anything, we're 2 houses down. If you need a cup of milk or whatever, we're right there.
Thanks.
Awesome. Enjoy your Saturday. Let me know if I can help with anything.
Okay, cool.
Thanks. And that's it. On to the next house.
Yeah. The hurricane thing is
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had forgotten the hurricane.
Like you're talking about communicating on Facebook about hurricane
Mhm.
stuff,
In the Facebook page.
keeping
Yeah.
updated, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep track of everybody afterwards, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. They're very, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
we did that.
Because there was a lot of that also.
Yeah. If somebody had a generator.
Because
Yeah,
we were
everybody
the
knew
only
Use
ones.
our freezer, or
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
plug in.
We had
Right.
hot shower and stuff.
And we
Nobody showed
offered
us-
to our neighbors to run extension cords. And that's what we
Everybody
did.
had to go buy
Yeah,
generators.
you're like, we tried.
Try.
I can't make you.
That's all you can do is try. So yeah, just come up with, the goal that you're going in there. If it's Facebook, if it's giving them comps, if it's, whatever. If you see they have a broken board on their fence and you just want to offer to fix it, let that be what you talk about.
Mhm.
And then you establish that relationship. You're not trying to solicit business. That's
Sure.
what you're going in there for.
Sure.
If it rolls into something else, if they ask you a question on something else, let it roll, see where it goes.
Mhm.
But let them kind of be the guide for that.
Mhm.
I think something small too, like a gift. I gave a guy a book because he was interested in investing. And he'd been talking about on the phone with me, a neighborhood guy. And so I gave him a book that I had read.
Yeah, that's
And I
good.
said, man, this guy's sharp. You probably already know most of it, but
Yeah.
give it a shot.
When are y'all doing the door knocking? Tomorrow? Just
No, tomorrow we're at a multiple.
okay. You've got time to create a postcard on command and shoot the file to Staples and have Staples print some postcards out. I think you'd have time for that. I wonder what their turnaround time is, but even if you went and picked them up Sunday morning or whatever before you went door knocking, and you could have a couple of little neighborhood stats with like a Facebook icon that says, are you a member of the Facebook neighborhood page? Call me if not, or whatever. And then that's something you can leave with them. The other side has your pictures and your contact information.
Right.
Something you can leave with
Friend me
them.
on Facebook. This is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
We'll get you hooked up.
Mhm. Got some time to do it.
You know what would be cool is if I could afford to give American flags to everybody.
Yeah, now 4th of July
That
or
would be
Memorial Day or
awesome.
something, that would be cool.
I mean, real flags.
Well,
Like the
yeah,
big
no,
ones?
No,
I
just
mean,
ones
there's,
to put on their post on there.
Yeah, normal size
I'd
would
like, you could do that.
be expensive.
It would. But
20% of the neighborhood is realtors. So
Yeah,
this
our
is,
neighborhood's
this is
like
our
that too.
competition. And
Yeah.
there are other realtors that do the flags in everyone's,
Mhm.
we gotta do something different.
Gotta do something
Yard.
different.
I told her.
they do
you know,
fireworks too, and they scares all the dogs.
Sponsor, well, and it will, but they'll still do the fireworks. Sponsor the fireworks show, or like, do y'all have like a common area? We have a big common
Pool.
area.
Yeah, we have a big grass knoll.
Yeah, where do y'all live? It sounds familiar.
Fairfield
Fairfield Falls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if there is a community event like that, sponsor it and provide a big, cooler of bottled water or whatever, and have your name on the top of the cooler or the front of the cooler or whatever, or, wrap a piece of paper that has your info around each water bottle, whatever it is, but sponsor an event and you'll be known in the neighborhood eventually. And eventually the other realtors will move out.
Oh, well, they already know Keith from Facebook page.
Okay, cool.
Most people.
So good.
Yeah. Is that a good thing?
You know, I'm gonna be- Hey, I do what I have to do. I'll just tell you that.
Oh, man. Do what you gotta do.
You know, I believe in taking care of business.
That's right. All right, we'll get back on track for those not in the room. Okay, so compliance and do not call. When you're prospecting, it's really important and when you're door knocking, it's important to respect the do not call and no soliciting and things like that. Subscribe to the registry, update the call list. So if you have a big call list, just put some phone numbers in there. Make sure you're not calling people that don't want to be called. If you're calling them to solicit business.
So how do you do that? I mean, is command set up to run against the do not call list?
Mm-mm.
Can we do that in the future? I mean, make a note somewhere as a nice to have thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can put a tag that says do not call or DNC.
No, but I mean, if it would be great if command would do that for
I'll
us.
tell you what, that would be a great idea. The problem is, that would be something good to suggest to them, that as you enter a contact, it runs it through the do not call list and tells you if they're on do not
Yeah.
call. But the problem is, there's a reason you're putting them in your database. And typically when you're putting them in your database, you've already talked to them. So you would basically have their permission to call
Right,
them,
that
and the
would
do not
be-
call wouldn't matter.
Right.
What this is referring to is like if you just pull a list of phone numbers from like RedX or something like that.
Okay.
Now RedX does, because that's the type of system it is, it just gives you phone numbers. It does tell you which ones are on the do not call list by a little D and C next to it. If it's your neighborhood and you happen to have a list of, you know, a roster of who's in the neighborhood, or for those people that have kids, if they're calling like all the parents that have kids in their kids' class or whatever, you could check the do not call list and just make sure that you're not calling anybody that doesn't want to be contacted. But if you're calling them to, you know, not solicit business and actually let them know something like, hey, just letting you know we're having a yard sale in the neighborhood. We'd love for you to participate or whatever. That's not really considered that's not a soliciting thing. That's an informational thing. I don't know that would apply here. As long as you're not saying, hey, I'm a realtor, do you want to sell your home? That's soliciting. Know the laws, check before you call and honor their request. If they say, don't call me again, don't call them again, because you're just going to piss them off and be in a bad light. And then your name's going to be on the neighborhood Facebook page that says, these people are annoying, just don't call them. Or if they say, don't email me, don't email them. Put some notes in there. Okay, delete all numbers on the registry from your list at least every 31 days. I guess they update the list every month. Before you make a call, check to see if the consumer's on the registry. Never call a consumer if there's a consumer request to be placed on your personal do not call list. And then know the state and federal laws. Just don't get in trouble. Real play, lead generation, calling with scripts. I feel like we've already done this. So this is where it's like an activity that you should have in the book thing online.
Yeah.
What does it look like on yours?
Oh, on the activity, hold on, I have that, hold on.
The real play lead generation. Because if it's something that's helpful, I want to make sure I do it, but I don't have what it looks like to y'all. So it says real play activities done through Ignite that are done in the classroom are money-making activities done with the support and guidance of me. The steps of the activity are say the affirming message out loud. I always come from contribution. People welcome my call.
That, is that not the stuff that we already did?
I feel like it is.
Yeah. Let me go back to.
Coming from contribution is huge. I mean, if you're more about giving them something than asking for something, it comes off a lot better. So always come from contribution. I also always say, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So when you're trying to handle objections or when you're in a conflict with somebody for one reason or another, ask questions and make sure you understand what the conflict is before you try to handle the conflict.
Yeah.
Because
that's
it may
really
be
good.
it may be about something completely different.
It's usually so simple.
Yeah, and it could be resolved with like one phone call that explains something. So seek first to understand, then to be understood. I always say that. Call contacts from your database, people you know, and referral names you have been given by your contacts. Participants should only call people they have permission to have a conversation with. Use the scripts provided. I guess those scripts are in there. Yeah. Turn to someone close to you. Say the affirmation. Yeah, I mean, this is just scripts for lead generation.
Yeah, I accosted people at Walmart yesterday.
What did you do?
Nothing. I just, talk to, I usually, I like to mess with kids, because they're always looking at stuff. And
Gosh,
I
I
go,
wasn't with him.
what are you doing, kid? And I'm like, oh, you're okay, man. You're okay.
Put it on your pockets.
And then the mom's like laughing because the kid's reaction.
Yeah.
I just have to.
So the lead generation and then lead follow-up, oh my gosh, lead follow-up is almost more important than lead generation, in my opinion. So you always want to follow up with people, especially if you say you're going to follow up with them. If you say you're going to call them back or you say you're going to email them, do it. Because if the first time you don't, they're going to remember, he said he was going to call me back and he didn't. So I must not be that important, or he doesn't follow through, or he doesn't say what he didn't do what he says he's going to do. So follow up is super, super important. And it allows you to gather more information, make more notes in your database, update some things, and, you know, schedule another time to follow up with them again. So at the same time you're scheduling time in your calendar for lead generation, schedule time for lead follow-up. And that's really those tasks that you're doing. Even if it's just a text, hey, how are you? I have a client right now I'm working with that she was ready to buy. We were scheduling to go look at houses and then she got really, really sick. So it all turned on its head. And now my follow-up to her is, how are you feeling? It's not, are you ready to go buy? It's, how are you feeling? Did you hear back from the doctor? Because when she tells me I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday, on Friday, today, because she had a doctor appointment yesterday, I'm going to call her or text her and say, did you hear from the doctor? How did it go? How are you feeling? It's not about houses now. It's about how are you feeling? And because that's what's concerning her right now. So I want to make sure it's not all business, it's a personal relationship. And every single time I talk to her, it's thank you so much for checking in. Thank you so much for reaching out. I'm feeling better, but I'm still waiting on test results, that kind of thing. Okay, great. When's your next doctor's appointment? Oh, it's next Tuesday or whatever. Fantastic. Best of luck. Let me know if you need anything. Then on Wednesday, I'm texting her again. What did the doctor say? How are you feeling? And it's a constant follow-up about what's concerning her, not what's concerning me. And that's going to lead her to see that, like, I truly care about what her needs are. So when it comes time to buying a house, I'm going to care what her needs are there too. She tells me she wants a 2-car garage. By God, she's going to get a 2-car garage because that's what I care about. So follow up, make it meaningful. And that's another reason I don't like the drip campaigns. They're not going to be meaningful like that. You know?
It's too impersonal.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah, I don't want to read the drip campaign email and then say to myself, why did she send this to
It's
me?
a machine talking to me, yeah.
But say, why did she send this to me?
Yeah.
And why does she think that
Yeah.
that this applies to me?
And on the flip side, as the agent, I don't want one of my clients calling me saying, hey, thanks for that email, and me going, what email? Like, what did I send? Because the system sent it. I want to know exactly.
Ask you some specific little thing that was in there, and
I
you're
want
like
exactly
scrambling,
Oh, yeah.
scrambling to, you know,
Like, oh, that must have been my assistant. Let me open my email and see. what
I'm
it
so
was.
good, I don't even realize I did it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I like to have more control over it. Some people it's great for, and there are some drip campaigns that you can use to your benefit, and they're fantastic. Just not all of them. Okay, so contract practice. This is saying understanding and explaining the contract to clients is a vital part of closing a deal. Contracts are complicated and require you to be precise. So practicing with them a little every day sets you up for success. If you haven't already read through the whole purchase agreement, highlight things, ask questions, really break it down, you definitely need to do that. Same thing with the listing agreement. There's a lot of legal jargon in there because it was written by attorneys basically. So your buyers are going to ask you those questions and you need to be able to answer them because you're the professional. So if you haven't already read through it line by line, definitely do that. If you have, do you have any questions about it that maybe I can answer?
Not really, but you do have to kind of know it verbatim.
Yeah.
Because your client is going to read the fine print and you got to.
A lot of them will. Some of them won't. Some of them are just like, where do I sign? Whatever. I trust you. But a lot of them, especially your engineers, they are going to
Oh.
read that 12-page contract, which is fine. Like, you want to give
Sure.
them time to do it. You don't want to say, just sign it real quick and I'll send it. You want to say, read over it, let me know if you have questions. When you're ready to sign, just click where it's telling you to sign. You don't want to rush them, because if you're rushing them, some of the people are going to get
They
suspicious.
turn off that switch.
Yeah, they don't want to be rushed.
Right.
So make sure you give them, even if you're doing it electronically, they can scroll through it to read it before they sign it. So make sure that you give them that time to sign it.
Yep.
I mean, if they take too much time, it may mean they lose the house, but
Yeah, but you know, most of us have
It
been
is
through
what
a,
it is.
like exchange or two.
yeah,
We know it's pretty much standard
yeah.
crap.
Well, and when you're doing, the importance of a buyer consultation is for things like this as well. You can give them a whole copy of the purchase agreement if you want to, and just write
Take it home.
sample across the top of it or whatever. So that they can take it home and read over it.
And these are some things that you may
Yeah,
Be
highlight
curious
some
about,
really
right.
important things
And
like the
I'll help
inspection.
guide you through this, you know, if
Right.
you want.
Then when it does come time to rush to write an offer because they might lose the house, they've already read it.
Yep.
So that's something you can do in the buyer consultation to
You've seen
just go over. Mhm. Yep, and then be ready to answer questions regarding the contract and the listing agreement. When I say contract, I mean both, they're both contracts. Okay. Command and connect to help. Command is the database that is owned, developed, operated by, tweaked all day, every day by Keller Williams. It's geared towards agent. It's built for agents by agents. They are changing it every single day. Some days we'll open it up in the morning and there'll be a new button. We're like, what is this? Or the commissions tab will be different and we have to figure out how to use it. So if you're not in it every day, you're gonna be really confused. If you don't open it for a couple of weeks, it's gonna look different. There's gonna be something that's different on it.
I hate when that happens.
I
too.
know, it's,
You're like, what?
some of them are good change. You're like, finally, they fixed that, bug and the button works now or whatever. But sometimes it's
not doing what I told it to.
yeah. And there's a, well, I don't have, on the top corner, like up here where your name is, there's usually a question mark, and it'll open up like a chat box that you can ask questions. It'll give you articles based on what your question was, but if you don't like the articles, you can ask it to actually chat with somebody. So if you just keep pushing the button like, no, I want something else. No, I want something else. Then it'll say, do you want to chat with someone? And you say yes, and you can actually chat with them. Because it may be an issue that an article doesn't cover and that they don't know about. Like we had an issue with a Facebook post the other day and they didn't know about it. So they're like, okay, this is definitely an issue. We need to put it up the chain of command. And then you'll get an email saying your ticket has been, run up the flagpole or whatever they call it. And we'll let you know when it's resolved.
So your chat is with a command technician?
Yes, a live
Okay,
command
not with
technician.
other people going, "Doo-doo-doo."
Right, yeah, it's with a technician,
Okay.
yeah. And if they don't have the answer right then, they'll get back with you and you may get a response email saying, hey, can you send me a screenshot of what the issue was? You send it to them and then they send back, try clicking on this. Like it's an actual person you're communicating with. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. And usually the issue's resolved. It may take a few days, but it's usually resolved. So, and then connect is where your technology is going to be tech-enabled agent. You click on connect technology, then click on tech-enabled agent and get training. You can find hundreds of training videos on command. How to create designs, how to create a Facebook post, how to create a postcard if you want to do that, how to import a contact, how to create a tag, all kinds of stuff. It's all on Connect. Super helpful. Create your success list. Take 5 minutes. This is if you have the little workbook thing. Create a list of tasks that need to be completed related to this session. I do this daily. I live by my steno book. I live by my database. I mean, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think of something I have to do the next day, and I'll put it in my phone, and the next morning I go through all my things on my phone and put it on my steno book, and I take that with me. I should have brought it in here to show y'all. But every day I have a page dedicated to every day. Exactly. And if I get a phone call, I make notes on it. If I get a referral from somebody, I make notes on it's all for that day. And I keep all my steno books. So if I need to go back to something, it's there. I'll transfer all of those notes into command. If I get a referral, I'll put the referral in command and transfer the notes. Was referred by this person on this date. This is what we talked about. This is what they're looking for. So it's in both places. So a success list is basically a to-do list. And I live by it. Okay. I mean, that's basically it. It wants you to complete a survey. Feel free to take a picture of this little thingy if you want to complete a survey on it. Any other questions or things y'all want to go over with the database, Obi or Sylvia?
I'm trying to figure out how to do like those ads that you put in Facebook, like something informational for your Facebook friends.
Yeah, it's under it's under designs or campaigns. Actually, okay, so the paid ads are under campaigns.
Okay.
And I think you have to design an ad first, and then when you go into campaigns, you can select the design that you created and then do the campaign. But under Connect, there's videos on how to do all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to do that because I like to like maybe once a week or once a day, like something informational about anything, just to have the audience, your sphere of influence, or people that are your friends, something informational for them that's interesting. Because that's what I look at, like on Facebook. I like to look at things that are interesting. So I don't know.
And there will probably be classes. I know we have before in the past done classes on command designs. So definitely try to figure it out on your own, just because I don't know when the classes are.
Okay.
So wait for that. But when you see a class pop up on the calendar like that, make sure you attend that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I'll play with it on the computer. I'll figure it out. But
yeah. And Jamie in the Orange Beach office is our command concierge kind of person for the office. And she can walk you through how to do all of that really easily if you schedule some time with her.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was so informative.
Good. Anything else?
No, it just shows how lame I am.
Lame-o.
The database thing.
Man, you're not lame. We're all trying to figure it out. There's so much information. It's just a lot.
Yeah,
It is a lot.
It seems like a lot, but when I think as we muddle through, we're finding that it's not as bad as we thought, because it's all menu driven.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can figure it out and just take a little minute, take the time to deal with it and click on it. Don't
Just
be
click
scared.
it.
Just do it.
Play around with it,
Yeah.
figure it out. And I mean, these classes, there's a lot of information in these classes, but they've chunked it into these little daily things. If you can take one thing from each class and implement that in your business, you'll be much better off than if you weren't to take the classes
You're a
at
step
all.
ahead.
Yeah, just take one little thing to implement, and then you can do Ignite again and take a different thing, to implement into your business then, once you've mastered those little things.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing at a time. Okay,
Yes.
so Monday's class is Set Goals That Matter. It's all about goal setting. Again, real important. We touched on it a little bit today with making your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals. So you'll, I'm sure, go into much more detail on that on Monday.
Yeah, I made my goals in command, and I have not revisited them since I did them.
Do you
And
remember
that's
what they
dangerous.
are?
Kind of. But
So no.
no. But
You actually made me think about something. So if you set a goal of 2 contracts a month,
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
and you don't meet your goal, you revisit your goal. So you say to yourself, okay, why didn't I meet my goal? And what do I need to change about my strategy?
Yep.
I've got to increase my number of leads. I've got to do this. I've got to do that to increase my chances of making,
Right.
getting a contract.
Right, yeah, if your,
So,
if
I mean-
your main goal is 2 contracts a month and you don't have the people in your database to do those 2 contracts a month, then those 2 contracts aren't gonna happen because you don't have the people there to
Right.
do it.
Right, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
More phone calls, more leads, more input into your database.
Walmart.
Yeah, more
I mean,
passing out your business card.
Jason was asking about that yesterday, I believe. I just said, everywhere I go, any service I use, everybody I pay or visit, give them a card.
Give them a card, and it
Yes.
doesn't mean you're asking for their business. You could be
Right.
asking if they know anybody.
Yeah, if you know anybody, you know,
Oh, sure.
I'm not, and then you can walk away, you know, you don't have to make it a long-term sales presentation. You
Yeah.
just say, hey, you know, if you think about it, if you need somebody, give me a call.
Yeah, and not just once, do it over and over to the same people, because then you're gonna be more in their memory for being real estate. Wear your name badge everywhere you go.
yeah,
Wear a Keller
you know
Williams
how
shirt everywhere you go.
a lot of times you'll go to the same restaurant, you get the same server.
Leave your business card when you sign the check, leave your
Yeah.
business card on it. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
did.
And I was
We do.
brutally honest yesterday. I said, you know, I hate to do this, but if I don't, you know, my wife will kill me. So I hand him a card. So I'm honest, you know, I've been told to do this, so
I don't want to, but
I really hate it, you know, because I'm not a sales
Here's my
guy,
card.
but here you go, you know.
And when you're in a restaurant, service people make great realtors, and nurses make great realtors. For whatever reason, they've got the personality for it. So
Right.
if you have a server that you use all the time because you go to the same restaurant at the same time and you sit in the same section and that's just who serves you, hey, have you thought about a career change? Have you thought about an additional stream of income? Have
And
to
it's
real
interesting.
estate. Come
When you
to the
talk to
path of real
people,
estate.
particularly during this COVID stuff,
Mhm.
a lot of them have been laid off,
Yeah,
and you're like,
or businesses like,
yeah, and there are people that you don't think, you know.
yeah.
Well, with the nursing, I mean, because we nurture
Mhm.
and we're advocates for our patients.
Yeah,
So that's what the realtors are.
Yeah.
They're advocates for the buyers and sellers that they're representing.
and nurses are real stressed out right now, y'all. They
Oh,
are
yeah.
stressed
God bless.
out and
Yeah.
over it.
Uh-huh.
They're
Oh, yeah.
over it. And I
Yeah.
mean, if they want a career change, they certainly would be fantastic in this career. A lot of them don't want it because they are so caring that they don't want to leave that job because there's more patients now that need them.
Yeah.
But if they're looking for a way out, they make great realtors because they have that compassion and that caring side naturally. So,
Well, it's hard to leave benefits too.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, we're very blessed to be in our situation. And that's why a lot of young people can't do it
Yeah.
unless you have a spouse that's working.
I was gonna say, if my husband didn't have a steady paying job with
It's hard.
benefits, there's no way I would have been able to do this. Because it took a good 2 or 3 years before I was really making an income to where I was contributing to the household.
Sure.
And now I make more than he does and he loves it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it
it's
was a lot of
challenge.
arguments. It
Oh,
was a
at
lot of,
first,
when are you
yes.
gonna get a real job kind of conversations.
Yes, we had those.
Yeah, it happens. But if you keep at it, if you keep growing your business, you keep growing your database, it will pay off.
And you can feel it, you know, I can feel the momentum. You know what I mean? I know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's coming.
Eventually, it'll be referrals and repeat clients, and that's all you have time to do. And that's fantastic because those are the ones you want to work with.
And
because
I keep
they
warning
know they
her, I
wanna
say,
work with you.
when it comes, it's gonna,
You know what that momentum
it's
is?
coming.
It's you on these wheels headed downhill.
That's right. Hey, and you know what? Gravity is your friend most of the
Hit the
time.
brakes, hit the brakes. There's a brick wall.
Speed is the thing.
That's it.
It's all about metering.
But it's fun.
It is, and I think it's a great challenge for me. And it's so easy for you to go down that rabbit hole of despair,
Yeah,
but stay with
When,
it.
when you mentioned the postcards,
yeah.
because I pulled up they've got the templated postcards or whatever, the J. Cermak, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Okay. That's for direct mail?
You can do it direct mail, or you can, when you
Do it
create it,
digitally?
you should be able to download what you've created, and if you send it to Staples or Office Depot or whatever, they can print it on like postcard paper and cut
Right.
it and everything.
Right, okay.
And they already paid postage and all that, and they mail
When
it.
you do the direct mail, yeah,
Yeah.
you pay them, like it gives you an amount, you tell them where you want it to go, you can select neighborhoods to send it to and that
Do
kind
you
of
get
thing.
bulk rate or anything like that?
I don't think so.
No, it's a standard.
Yeah, I mean, postcards are cheaper than regular stamps
Sure.
anyway, so you get that, but
But that's the thing, you know, you have to,
I think it's like 48 cents or something like that per address, like per postcard.
you gotta keep track of your expenses.
Oh,
They
yeah.
get away from you real quick.
Yeah, set yourself a marketing budget and don't go over it, and but also make sure you're getting that back. Yeah.
Bang for your buck.
That's all I got for you, folks.
All right.
Okay.
Well, what do you think about LEDs on my wheelchair
I like
with
it.
my KW logo on the back?
Red
on the wheel,
LEDs, maybe that
Right.
blink a little.
And maybe some cards, you know, in the
Yeah.
spokes going.
I like it. I think that'd be awesome. You'd be the only one that has it.
My business cards in the spokes and go.
Yeah. I like it.
That's good. You're thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's right.